Hello, ESC Overwatch. It is time for our losers semifinals match. I'm joined at the desk here by Manoa.
What's going on, guys?
Did I say losers semis? It is losers finals. My bad.
Close enough. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, whoever wins this, going to Grants.
And I
So
also I was just casting losers finals. I had to make my way up from McVeigh to here,
there you go.
and I did get to see a glimpse of one of our teams in that match. I was casting Kent State versus Miami, and Kent State, one of our, of course, players in this match, we were playing against OU. Put up a really good fight and kind of surprised me in a few instances. I was seeing some very good Reaper gameplay from I'm forgetting the player's name, but from whoever was playing Reaper for Kent State, and it was really impressing me their ability to use Death Blossom in kind of sketchy situations to pull out at least 2 or 3 kills.
I want to say that was under review, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
that's what it was. I remember it started with a U, but I,
Yeah.
I kept thinking the Undertaker for some reason.
And I actually just went against the other team that we're casting, OU, with Ball State. I am on Ball State. I'm the tank for Ball State. Winners finals game, and I was impressed with their gameplay. So I think it's going to be a very good match. I
Yeah,
think they did play
hoping for map
before.
5.
They did play before, and I think it did go map 5, if I remember
Oh, you're
correctly.
right. I believe that
It was the
was
semis.
upper bracket
Mhm.
semis. Yeah, two very strong teams, but two very different teams. We've been seeing two different kind of styles of play. Yeah, you can see.
Wasn't exactly a map 5, but went 4.
Yeah, 4 is one less than 5.
Mhm.
It's almost the same number. That's how math works, right?
Yeah, close enough.
But yeah, two very different styles I've seen. Ohio definitely preferential, excuse me, to the wrecking ball. They were pulling it out in their game against Akron, and they pulled it out in their game against Kent State. And I believe that they used it in their game against you guys.
They
Am I
did.
correct?
They
Yeah.
yeah, they put it on the very last map serve also. They mirrored ball.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they actually started off playing like a little Ram, a little Diva, a little Zarya.
Gotcha.
So they've been playing a little bit of everything in this tournament, seems like. Very flexible team with
Yeah.
LeBron.
And that's what you like to see, especially in a meta like this, where you do have a lot of options. Like we've seen a lot of stuff across the board from DPS. We've been seeing Venture, Reaper, even Symmetra, Soj, Freya. And then on the support side, I mean, Lucio and Kiri were kind of been a guarantee, but they've been a guarantee since Overwatch 2 came out. But, we're also getting the two new supports. We've been getting some Juno and some Wu Yang action in there, and even a little Baptiste
A
and a
little
little
bit
bit
of
of
BAP.
Ana. I don't know if people were catching the B stream, but on Kings Row, Miami ended up pulling out the Ana for a nade grav combo to kind of turn around that map. So we've been seeing a lot of variety here. I mean, we haven't seen Mercy, which I think is a good thing, I'd
I
say.
don't. I would love to see it. I would love to see it happen.
As long as they're fair with it, I'll watch some pharmacy gameplay. But if I see like a damage boosted Ashe, I'm walking out of the casting room.
Yeah, I love the bans in this tournament because it's so much diversity. There's a lot of different gameplay being played. Like a Kiri gets banned, you see a bat come
Yeah,
out, or an Ana if the Kiri gets banned, they go play some Hog or something like that. I've seen some very creative things. Like when we played Miami yesterday, we banned Zarya, and then they banned, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I think it was Sim, and they walked
yeah.
out on Orisa because of the Zarya and Sim ban. It just works out very well, and it worked well from them.
And it's forcing teams to be very adaptable to all kinds of situations. You can't go into each map with just one plan. You got to have something in your back pocket for if a band would like screws that up. And like that's I think the key to a lot of these matches is how adaptable these teams are.
Yeah, I can't say too much on our behalf because no leaks.
Leak
We're
all your
still
strats
killing
right
it. I
now
know.
before grand finals. Do it.
But we definitely have multiple different options for multiple different maps. So we have a whole comp sheet.
Guys, they have a hidden bastion combo.
We do have a
Definitely,
hidden
yeah.
bastion. Don't ban ball, guys. Just saying. Ball say playing ball. It's ironic, but hey.
Well, I mean, I've actually generally I haven't been the biggest fan of ball metas, but I honestly like it now where it's not a ball meta, it's ball being viable.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
ball I think is a fun tank to have be a viable pick, but not meta defining. Because he adds just a little bit of chaos that I think Overwatch thrives with. I mean, I feel like people playing the game might not be as big a fan of going against a wrecking ball, but
I love it.
I'm
Hey,
casting now. I don't gotta worry.
exactly. Yeah. I've definitely playing comp and playing this tournament. I've definitely heard some not nice things about ball players, but hey, I love it. I go out there and have so much fun. I'm grinning in ear whenever I play a little
And
gerbil.
speaking of other tanks that we've seen a little bit, we've also seen the tiniest little bit of Mauga. I believe that was in the OU Akron match from yesterday.
Buffalo played it against
Yeah,
Ball
but
State
did Buffalo
also.
play it? Okay, yeah. So it's definitely an interesting pick. I'd say it's most viable into something like a Ramatra, just because Arisa Mauga has a tough time against because of the spear and the spear spin. Ball is I'd say, but they don't really do a whole lot to each other. They kind of just interact neutrally. But so we might even see some Mauga gameplay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what Kent State plays off the top of my head. When I did watch their game back against Miami, that was happening in the loser bracket. They were very flexible. I saw
Yeah,
a lot of
they have.
Fury, a lot of Juno, some double flex comps, which was really creative.
They've been
I
playing a
saw
lot of
Queen.
the Ramatra, and yes, they do have that Queen comp. I was talking about it on stream. I wasn't biggest fan of the way they played it. They originally started by pairing it with a Cass May, which they were going in Zarya Reaper. Queen can't really help the Cass May get in, but they switched
Oh,
that Cassidy to a Sojourn, and there was a good amount of off-angle pressure that the
oh.
Sojourn was able to provide. And once they had that, then the May and the Queen were going to get in. So I liked it much better paired with the Sojourn
So it
as
seems
opposed to
like we just
Cass.
got the map pick in. It's gonna be Nepal, and I
Hmm.
believe I heard a Zarya ban.
I
I
think
don't remember
you are
what team banned it,
correct.
but I heard a Zarya
Yeah,
ban.
but going into Nepal, no surprises there. I think we've basically only seen Nepal this tournament with a
A
few
lot of
Elioses,
Nepal.
and I don't think we've seen a single Busan, which is technically in the
Hey,
map pool. You're allowed to pick it.
I'll try to. I'll push for it.
Yeah, please do. I want to guess something other than
Mhm.
Nepal, even though I love that map. But yeah, probably going to see a good amount of brawlier comps. I'm not expecting too much poke or too much dive on a map like Nepal.
Mhm.
Maybe you get dive if we get to Sanctum, but definitely expecting some brawlier stuff.
I'm expecting both teams to walk out on Ram, like some sort of Ram Kiri Lu.
Hmm.
I think we've seen Venture come out
Yeah,
from Kent, maybe, and even Sim Reaper. So the flex DPS spot's definitely the biggest question mark for me. Simbam just came out, so I'm
no
expecting
sim.
more of like a Reaper or maybe a Venture.
Yeah, I say Reaper or Venture definitely the big picks for flex DPS. I'm assuming we're gonna see a Soj in that hit scan spot.
Mhm.
Maybe a Cassidy if you're dealing with a comp that you might need some frontline pressure, but I highly doubt it. I'd say Soj Cat or Soj Reaper Venture are gonna be the DPS picks going in here.
Mhm. I'm really interested to see how the matchup's going to go because what I've seen from watching Kemp play is their Reaper gets a lot of value in the
Yep.
mid fight from TPing in and just creating havoc. So I'm very interested to see how Ohio is prepared for this and see how they just walk out because they could come out on Cass and focus more on the Reaper, or they could, play more front to back, try to pressure out their Ram before the fight even starts, and the Reaper won't get that much fight in the mid fight, more value in the mid fight. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get in this match, not just for my sake, but just for the stream's sake.
Under review definitely being a thorn in the side of Miami in the last match and hoping to be a thorn in the side of Ohio going into this. And like you were saying, able to create havoc in the scrappier fights. They just kind of knew when to be in the right place at the right time when someone was going to be out of position. Either they get the kill or they get two shots, force someone to back up, or they get two shots, the Ram finishes the kill. But either way, they were a difference maker in quite a few situations.
So if you guys are just coming to the broadcast, you're gonna see an interesting name on the Ohio tank roll. We have LeBron James himself.
Yes, it is the actual
It is
LeBron
the
James. We
real
can
LeBron
confirm.
James.
He's in the building with us. We're talking with
Please
him
play
earlier.
Bastion
Do it
Mouse.
for me.
Oh, I would love
Ohio.
to
I
see
know.
that.
I'm pretty sure you know I'm casting you.
Oh, I
Don't
would
bait me
love
now.
that. Oh, it's
I
definitely just
think
spawn room
I think they're in the
trickery,
room
but
behind us. I'm gonna send them mental
yeah,
signals
they are
to
in
keep
there,
playing it.
yes. Oh,
And
I would love to see him walk
we
out on
did see Ohio at one point against BGSU. I want to say run Junk Bastion
Wow.
on Junkertown. It didn't. It actually did win them first fight, but they ended up switching off after that first fight.
Okay,
And
here we go.
like we were
Pretty
saying,
similar comps.
yep. Only difference is the Venture and the Venture on the side of Ohio State and the Reaper on the side of Kent.
Yep, and they got double flex versus a main support and flex support. It's more standard on Ohio.
Seeing the fight break out here, Ramantra's both walking up to the point, but a quick two-tap from under review takes out Topaz and puts Kent State on the front foot here. Ohio opting to just kind of kite out as fast as they can, though Blue taking a quick off-angle poke, maybe sneaking a kill out there. Turbo gets moved off by Big Whoop, and Blue gets stuck in the thing while they try and slide out. They die, putting Ohio into advantage. Ohio walking up to the point to just deal with the supports and the Reaper, and looks like Kent State's going to try and delay here, but I don't really think they can get much out of this. Reaper taking a few pot shots, but ultimately falls to the Ram, as well as Akasora on that Sojourn.
Kent started that fight with an early pick and then got too egregious and aggressive with it. They
Yeah.
walked in, got booped off the map, really well played by Big Woo.
And again, great idea to look for that off angle from Blue on the Soj, but you got to be real careful. That Ramantra Ravenous Vortex will keep you from getting out, and you'll just be evaporated.
If I was on Kent's side, I would personally like to play a little bit slower with the double flex and try to create pressure in the mid fight with the Reaper. But they decided, they got an early pick, which is really good, but they went way too far in at the moment.
Yep, both Ramantras walking up, Ravenous Vortex used while the Ram form is popped by Dribble, trying to get a little aggressive in there. A lot of damage coming through onto LeBron James, and he falls. Point almost going over the side of Kent State, and it eventually does. Rest of the team starting to fall in turn. Big whoop goes down to the Sojourn from blue, but Akasora takes a quick body shot to maybe even it out. As I say that, though, Gerbil takes down Dexter Pittman on that BAP, and Akusora falls to under Review's Reaper, putting the point back in control of Kent State, taking up 21, 22, 23%.
And you're seeing exactly what we were talking about before the match started. Is under review in these little brawlier fights really gets in there and puts a lot of value, melting LeBron James before the fight starts and giving a really good early pick to walk off. It was really textbook, really.
Under review, opening up the fight yet again by taking out Topaz. Blue trying to get in there aggressive with that overclock, but Ohio just kind of backing out, not wanting to take any chances on this fight.
I love the fact that Kent State, they're playing aggressive to try to clean up on these skills, but not too aggressive so they can get caught for it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. Apparently the Ram and the Lucio did not get out as I was saying that, and because of it, Big Whoop gets caught, and this is an even further delay. You really want to be careful about letting staggers like that happen.
We have a big alt fight coming up here. Kent State, I will say, looks to be better when it's just 5 ults v 5 ults, just because their support ults are more impactful. And under review again.
Oh, what a blossom. Actually, not the biggest blossom in the world. Thought it was going to get more. It only gets the bad piece, but LeBron James answers back by taking out the Blossoming Reaper. Topaz gets aggressive, finding the Juno on the enemy side, but Ramatra popping the Ram form, getting aggressive, taking out Akusora, but it might be too little too late. Unfortunately, Kent State, the rest of their team fell. Point went over to the side of Ohio, and now Gerbil getting staggered and knocked off the map.
Stagger does hurt a little bit. Topaz in the middle of that fight, really big ult fight. There's 4 from Kent State and then 3 from Ohio. Topaz in the mid fight, excuse me, goes and kills, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but the Juno before she could use her ult.
I think it's Asteria.
That looks right. I just didn't really want to butcher it. Was the real reason why I didn't try. Kills the Juno before they can get the ult out. So let's see how this fight. I'd say they start with Juno, but you know they have a good way to counter.
Dangerously low, 1 HP, is able to survive, but they have to back off before they get anything. In comes the Juno ult, but it is answered by that BAP window. LeBron James falling dangerously low, not able to get behind the BAP window and dies due to the Juno ult. The rest of Ohio starts backing up, but Kent State is collecting these kills. Dexter Pittman falls, followed by Akusora, as the rest of Ohio desperately makes a beeline for spawn to get ready for the next fight. 85 ticking up. This is a last fight scenario for Ohio. They have to get a touch to be able to pop on those ults to maybe get another fight in this round.
Kent State played very well that last fight, getting the rush and playing really aggressive with it. I really hope the adventures of there it is.
Topaz pops the ult, but Blue was right there with the overclock, taking 2 shots and taking him out, followed by LeBron James. Though Akusora does answer back, it isn't looking great for Ohio in this last fight. Dexter Pittman falls, followed by maybe the Lucio, followed by Akusora's Sojourn, then the Lucio, and that is round 1 to Kent State.
Kent State looked really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was more dominant than the percentage says, just because the first fight didn't go their way, even though they got an early pick, but they in the mid fights and the early fights they got picks where they needed to. They were doing things in the mid fight which they needed to, getting under review active, which is again one of the key reasons why this Kent State's doing so well in this tournament.
Yeah, Kent State really knowing when to press the gas pedal. Like we saw a few instances where Ohio State didn't kite far enough. Kent State knew that, took the advantage, even though they would only get 1 kill in those kind of extension fights. It delayed just enough to allow them to have point control for that much longer.
This round, I would really love to see Topaz from Ohio get a little more active in these early fights. I will say the first fight, they did get picked off, so there's an even medium to that. But I want to see them get more active in these mid fights, because when we saw they did, they got really, really good picks. They got 2 picks at 1 fight and got them the win for that.
Both teams squaring up here. Machos pop their shields and walk up. Gerbil falls dangerously low, but is able to survive because Dexter Pittman uses that lamp. Or Dexter Pittman uses the lamp and does get forced out. Lucio, taking a lot of damage, has to get back up in that room along with the rest of Ohio, and they're just going to back up from this fight, looking like they maybe go main from this position, and that is what they're going to do.
It's really hard for Ohio to keep playing front to back in these fights just because the double flex support, Gerbil's not going to fall low. You know, he's going to get as much care as pretty much possible right now. And they need to just find more off angles and more stuff instead of going front to back. It's not working out for them.
Fights occurring on the coast side of point with both Ramachas kind of having a little bit of a beat down in this. Ramatra saved by that immortality field from Dexter Pittman. And the Reaper TPs in, tries to find the Soj, and he does. Dexter Pittman answers back by taking out the Soj on the side of Ohio. But LeBron James's Ramatra falls on point. Gerbil looking to get aggressive here with that Ram form, boxing him up. Taking out the Baptiste, trying to get the Venture, but Venture goes underground. However, Kent State takes control of that point and starts their percentage ticking up.
Kent State are coming out swinging. Or should I say boxing? Oh, good pick from LeBron James. Let's see if they play
Wait,
faster.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, a little slow throw. A
Maybe
little perk helped him out.
this fight is potentially going to be a 5v4 if Ohio is going to get aggressive. And yes, they're looking to do it.
I wonder if they're going to start with window here. Because it's kind of hard for them to fend off blue on the high ground.
Under review.
Wow.
Just pick after pick opening up early fights, even in situations where they're down one. It's been really the name of the game is these Reaper picks. Kent State just kind of forcing Ohio to back up yet again. Render looking to maybe get a sneaky pick, but not able to.
Yeah, it's hard for Ohio to walk main in these fights because their team is so active with under review teeping in. Here they go. They're going to walk top and hopefully clear blue off the high ground this time.
Oh no. Dribble takes down Akastora. The lovely placement of the Ravenous Vortex followed by some great primary fires. Dribble then boxing, taking down Dexter Pittman's Baptiste. Big Whoop falling to blue Sojourn. And LeBron James is trying to die and reset quickly. 75% for Kent State, 0 for Ohio. Kent State's looking really good here.
I don't know 100%, but I think Big Whoop Ajax got fight.
Oh my god, I think he
didn't
did!
even notice it. I just see that there's no ult.
Oh, that is a brutal
we
addition.
have 5 ults from Kent State coming out here. Let's see how Ohio decides to break this.
And Ohio does have 4 ults, so it's not over yet. Someone's going to need to touch 10%. They go aggressive with the Blossom, and it finds the Baptiste, though. Big Whoop answers, taking out the Reaper. Going into this fight with no main support, or no main healing is going to be devastating. Juno ult combined with the Ram form is going to try and take down LeBron James. He is surviving due
Ohio
to
does get the flip,
due to the Ramantra ult. Dexter Pittman, or Gerbil pops his Ramantra ult to answer back.
So Kent State looking to end up killing up this fight, killing his Venture, and taking the map. But Ohio did get the touch. Did get the point flip halfway through, and they're swapping the ball for the touch. Let's see if they get it.
Ball able to roll on a little quickly, but stuck in the Ravenous Vortex and the body block from the Reaper. Unfortunately, Ball's big HP pool isn't enough there. Kitsune Rush comes onto the point as well as the Lucio and the Kiri, but again, it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. Kent State just cleaning up these kills time and time again. Ending the map here in a second, maybe?
Maybe one more touch?
There it is. Map 1 goes to Kent State, and I'll be honest, pretty handedly.
Yeah.
Like maybe that first match was definitely, or that first point was definitely closer, but this point 2 was just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, Kent State really came out swinging. I thought all 5 players on the team were getting extremely active and playing their comp exactly how they want to. Ohio, on the other hand, were falling into their trap. You know, when you see a Juno, you see a Kiri, you think heals, 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 and you see a Ram just holding block in front of your team. You see the Ram holding block in front of their team, and it's going to be rough just to try to shred through it, and you're not going to be able to. And that's what Ohio kept falling into.
Just like we were predicting, the Reaper from Kent State under review, just doing devious things to really start out a lot of these fights. We saw it at the beginning of the round, a kill onto Topaz. We saw it at that one fight where Kent State was down there. Kiriko, again, under review, getting a random pick just to kind of keep them into it. It's been that Reaper the whole game, and I think what Ohio needs to do is really start checking their corners a little bit better, keep an eye on where their Reaper is, and importantly, where their Reaper isn't, so you know that he's going to be a threat.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see LeBron James get a little more active, too. Whenever he's getting in there and getting these brawling more fights, when he's popping form, he's getting trades. His team is getting traded back, unfortunately. But he's doing a very good job getting in there and getting some picks. So if I'm LeBron James, I'm going into this next map a little confident. We have our map pick. We have our map ban. I'm not sure who had the map pick or ban on that one.
If it would have been Kent State because they were lower seed. Yeah, Kent State was the lower seed. So they won on no, they won on their own map. Yes, okay. I confused myself for a moment.
I see why they picked that map. Yeah. They look very dominant on it. But now Ohio, they get the chance, their ban, their pick. Let's see how it goes, because I'm not too sure exactly what they might take. They might take Cervasa, try to play more ball. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'd say either take him Cervasa, play more ball, play something a little bit more spread out, or take Kent State to somewhere with a little more long-range sightline options, something like maybe a Shambali Monastery, to where you can pay attention to that Reaper's positioning and really shut him down. Because again, it's that brawly, aggressive Reaper Ramatra core from Kent State that's really pushing these engages and putting Ohio on the back foot.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Shambali at all, but I feel like it's harder because whenever you're playing the double flex and Ram, but I guess they were playing some bad Lucio, so I wouldn't hate it either way.
I do believe that the Reaper ban is still on the table for Ohio, if I'm correct. Because
it was only Sim.
Kent State ban Sim?
Sim Zarya. So I wonder what they're going to ban to protect, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, good
Because
point.
I would love to keep the Reaper on the map if I was Kent State.
Well, you really want to go up to in a match like this. These matches, especially because bans, like I don't know exactly how it causes this, but I've just noticed that since bans have been added, games have become so momentum
Mhm.
based. You really want to get that 2-0 start to try and make your life that much easier.
Next map is going to be Dorado. So not letting them play or the more brawl centric stuff. We're going to go into dive. I wonder if LeBron James is going to pull out the ball or Monkey
Yeah.
or Diva.
I'm definitely expecting ball from Ohio State. I could be pleasantly surprised by a Monkey or Diva. I'd love to see it,
I
but
wouldn't mind any of it.
and we've seen some interesting stuff on Dorado. I've seen everything from Ball to Winston. I saw a little bit of. Oh,
I saw two teams mirroring Zarya on
yes,
Dorado.
that's what it was. It
Yeah,
wasn't one of the matches I was casting. I don't think it
it
was.
was uncanny. Really
But
was.
I even saw there's been Ash, there was a pharmacy that got played at one point, there was Sombra. There's been a lot of stuff on Dorado, and I think that comes down to the fact that it isn't really a commonly played map in scrims recently. I haven't seen a lot of teams been picking it both in scrims and matches. And so I think a ton of people really aren't entirely sure what they want to do with it.
I'm trying to think of the other maps that are for payload.
It is
Oh, we have Dorado. We have no. Hold on, let me think.
I'm on my brain is only coming up with
Junkertown, I think is
hybrids.
one of them. Yeah, I'm only thinking of hybrids too. I keep wanting to list like Blizzard World or Midtown.
But someone
Dorado.
banned Freya. I just for they told
Ohio
me who
did
it was.
ban Freya.
Ohio, that's
So
who
yeah,
it
Ohio
was.
got the first ban, banning Freya. I get, yeah, I have seen Blue get active on multiple different hit scans,
Yeah.
and Freya is definitely one of them. It could also be them protecting like their Venture. If they
Yeah.
wanted to play Venture instead of like a Trace around this map to mark card, I wouldn't mind that really because I think Venture is playing very well into their playstyle. These previous maps that they've been playing, in other series, not this one, but if they don't feel comfortable on the Tracer, Venture's not a bad backup pick at
No,
all.
not at all. And I think like even though we saw Topaz kind of falling early, I don't think that really counts badly on them or their composition. I think it really just came down to under reviews Reaper
Mhm.
playing really well and being on a cough map. But now you're on a map like Dorado, where I'd say Venture overall has the advantage against Reaper in that one-on-one. Venture can kind of hold the cart, use that for cover, and if they really need to get out, they have so many good options.
Mhm.
So it's really going to be interesting to see how these teams interact and how what they're looking to pick here.
I guess it does really come down to the Kent State ban, but I'm really interested to see what they're going to come out with a support line because I'm seeing a lot of double flex coming out from Kent State, as I mentioned before. But you normally see like a Kiri Lucio or an Anna Brig on this map. I don't really think you're going to come out on Juno, but I'd love to be surprised.
We've also we saw a Baptiste last match, and I
We
did see
have,
Baptiste in a few other matches recently. If they're looking to do a pokier thing, I wouldn't even hate a Bap Juno or a Bap Kiri. It's a little unorthodox,
I
but
wouldn't mind it.
it would be something that I think could take Kent State by surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at this point, what you want to do after coming off that first map, I wouldn't I wouldn't mind switching it up if I was any of the teams. But I would come out with something new if I was Ohio. Just try to throw them
Yeah.
off their rocker a little bit, knock them off the feet.
Kent State did ban the Diva, so
Mhm.
it looks like we're probably going to be seeing ball from Ohio State.
Love that.
I'm excited. I haven't had to like get a proper ball cast. My only opportunity to cast the ball 1v1 was yesterday's latest match, and I was dying of tiredness
Yeah, I
at
think
that
it was
point.
around 11 o'clock
Yeah.
whenever you guys were doing that one.
Oh no, not that one. I finished up about
Oh,
7:30, but
okay.
that
Yeah,
match
yeah.
kept getting delayed because one of the players kept having
Mhm.
PC issues.
I know
So
the
we'd have like
Akron or Miami game finished late
yeah,
last night.
I had a prior obligation, but I was checking up on the stream, and they kept going up until yeah, I think you're right, like 11 p.m. or
Yeah, it was
something.
late. I honestly do expect Kent to keep rolling out on this Ram here. I don't remember all the previous games they played, but they have played Dorado, and I don't think they played the more like quote unquote default on this map.
Yeah.
It's actually the old
Oh my
map. I
god, I
guess
just
if you want
realized
to
that
say,
it's the
yeah,
pre-rework thing.
pre-rework.
Because
They don't have the
I think these
stairs.
like I think we've had these have been around for like a while that we've been
Yeah, I
using these
wonder if like the
animations.
actual Overwatch produced this or
I
if
think they did. I
Miami
think
did.
they came from YouTube or something.
Okay, well, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a little updated one.
But yeah, I think the Ramantra wouldn't be a bad pick, especially if they're gonna go for a close hold or even just try and keep it in point one. Ramantra not nearly as effective on that second point of Dorado, but can be devastating on some of these corners if they're able to prevent the ball from getting in, prevent the flankers from getting in. It really is an interesting pick.
Yeah, I would love to see a spawn hold. I think I hear Zarya. Do you hear that?
That's
Oh, Zarya
Zarya. I'm
Genji?
hearing a Genji. Let's take a peek here. All right, yeah, we are seeing the Zarya Genji from Ohio. Not what I expected at
Not
all,
at
but
all.
like we were saying, we want something surprising. And the Zarya Genji, oh, and there's an Ashe too? That
Does
definitely is
swap it up
surprising. Kent
nicely.
State looking to take a Reaper Sombra.
I wonder if they're going to stay on the Sombra. That's a little bit of an interesting
Yeah,
pick to me. Blue this entire tournament has played very, very well. Last map seeing him on the Sojourn. Um, I would like if I was them, I would love.
switch to the
I'd
Tracer.
like the Tracer more than the Sombra. The
Yeah.
Sombra doesn't seem like that good of a
Though,
pick.
based on their comp, I don't think they're expecting the Zarya Genji. But I mean, who would?
Who would? I would expect something more orthodox, but throwing them off guard is exactly what I wanted, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Zarya.
I wonder what their swap would be if it doesn't work out. I would love ball. I'm biased. I think I am.
We got Ram on the cart for Kent State, and Zarius recognizing that, backs off the high ground and just kind of lets it go the way of Kent State. They're looking to get this archway hold here. Genji just being a nuisance on high ground, scouting, keeping an eye on the enemy team.
Normally, high grounds are the most important thing for this map, but on these types of comps, you don't really care about the high grounds as much. It's mainly just brawling out on the cart. That's what Kent State is doing very well, but Ohio, this Ashe is causing some troubles on Gerbil's walk-up.
This archway is going to be the biggest issue for Kent State, because yes, you do want to control those high grounds, and yes, Kent State specifically just wants to play on cart, but you have to get it through this underground area, and the best way to do that is by taking out the enemy tank, and Kent State sees that and puts the pedal to the metal. They're looking to chase down these supports in the backline. Kiriko TV's out, and Lucio is able to boop, but the entire position of Kent State has just fallen, or for Ohio has just fallen apart as Kent State cleans up those kills.
And these are some rough staggers from Ohio. I think Kent State's is going to easily get this card here, because Akiri and Ashe died very, very late. That's cap already.
That's .1.
Wow.
5:13 on the clock.
Fast. That was a
Yeah.
50-second cap.
Like you were saying, those staggers absolutely devastating. Kent State really preventing Ohio from getting a proper defense going here, and there it happens again. Under review, finding Topaz and pushing Ohio that much further back.
Under review's picks are definitely what is making this series go in Kent's favor. 1,000%. Ohio swapping to the Pharah. I kind of... Oh, Blue gets picked early. Let's see if...
Oh, you're right. Ohio does switch to the Pharah. I am a fan of that. I love me some Pharah, and you're going against Reaper Tracer. There aren't that many crazy threats, and
Ashe
as I say that,
yep.
Ashe comes out, and now there's a crazy threat to the Pharah.
But I do like the Pharah to deal with the Reaper more, because, you know, Topaz was having some trouble getting in the brawlier fight, but I think it's a lot better. They can play a lot longer. Good boop coming off. Not able to use their rush as they would like to. Yeah.
The disruption from the Pharah being really deadly to Gerbil on that Ramatra, forcing him to kind of try and play this corner aggressively, but takes too much damage, falls, and the rest of his team drops off height.
A little bit of an Ashe diff to end the fight there. But I will say, ooh, I thought I heard a Reaper all go off there.
Same. That's why I said ooh for a second, but I think it was his TP.
I'm hearing things. But yeah, really good high guard control from Ohio. This Ashe is really putting in the work. Already has Bob. Well, I guess most of them already have all.
And well, I was worried about the Pharah pick because Blue swapped to that Ashe, because Akasora is having such a good round, or good point on the Ashe. Topaz has a lot more freedom.
Good.
Death
Wow.
wants some solo kills the Pharah? When has that ever happened?
I wish I saw a replay of that one. Getting trades though.
Yeah, it is currently down 2 for Ohio, down 1 for Kent State. As I say that, Reaper falls dangerously
That's
low,
a
and a
big
3-man grab. No Suzu on the field, no Reaper Wraith. Keep him alive, but a Ram Shield at the last second. Gets the Curie up. Lavernus Vortex and the Ramatra all to try and take on the Zarya, but they answer back with the Lucio beat to keep the Zarya alive. Topaz answering, taking out Blue on that high ground, and now getting this off angle. We do see a beat come in from Mysteria, but Ohio answers back by tossing Bob onto the cart. Ramatra forced to block, and then the barrage to finish him off. Though Mysteria answers back, taking out the Pharah. It is a scrappy fight here, but we have both supports trapped in bank, looking to get a little touch on cart, just to not really do a whole lot after that.
A lot of ults coming down that fight. Kent State the only one with an ult on the map. Blue is coming up with it, but again, Kent State has a very, very good ult advantage in this fight. Let's see if they can push it out and get the cap going in this fight. They're gonna be fighting for this high ground. Hopefully they just turn the corner and rush, run out LeBron James like they did last fight, but we'll see.
Ramatra popping forward, trying to get aggressive on this Zarya, but just kind of really zoning them back, taking a lot of damage as he does so, forcing them back up. It's 2-0 rush that gets popped by Frosty Knight, trying to heal up Gerbil back up to full, and he does. Reaper now pushing the cart, getting aggressive on the Ashe. Ashe takes a lot of damage, but is able to survive. 104 HP. Reaper wraiths out. Looks like Ohio is kind of on the back foot here, but as I say that, Topaz getting aggressive onto the Ashe, finds one. Can they find the second rocket? No. Blue able to survive and take out the Pharah. That's important as Blue has the only ult on the board. Bob coming in, pushing Ohio back, perfectly placed. Ohio has to push through this bomb to try and touch, and they do pop the Casino Rush, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Kiriko falls first, Lucio next, and Ohio not able to mount a full defense here.
Kent played that fight great. They pushed him off that high ground, let Blue set him in the best spot for him in that entire map. On that bridge right there, just shooting down. Topaz does go try to 1v1 him. Underview, TP's back up, gets a 2v1, and then gets a good Bob going on, and they have the advantage from there on out.
And the placement of that Bob, absolutely beautiful. Oh!
Good pick.
Just a quick 2-tap from Akasora, making it so Kent State can't really hold on to that high ground.
Topaz marking the cart early. Oh, Blue does find picks, so both carries are going to be down at this point in time. Wow, these ashes are really making the difference.
It is a shooting gallery here on point 3.
Bob come out. Let's see if they let him keep pushing the car like this, or if they're going to pressure it before they can get it around the corner. Because that corner, it's deadly.
An aggressive Blossom doesn't seem to get all that much, and a grab comes out, but I'm not sure who's it on. It's actually on the entirety of Kent State, but the beat just saves them all. Not much follow-up there. Bob comes in aggressively, knocks up the Ramantra, and he doesn't have form to keep himself alive. The counter beat coming now from Ohio State as they're trying to get aggressive onto Kent. They haven't found a pick just yet, though, and it's starting to get devastating. No, they do find Underview, they do find Blue, and they do stem the bleeding. Ohio State looking to win this fight here.
Wow, these fights are really getting intense. We're seeing multiple ults coming out each fight, and it's, they could really go either way with just one pick. And we see trades and one team just finding a little bit of an advantage in the mid fight, and it's really working out for them. Whether it's a Blue or an Akasora pick, or if it's Topaz or Under Review in the mid fight, going for some sneaky off angle on the sports.
Well, these fights are also really interesting because they're starting off either with like an opening pick, though a lot of them are starting off with several ults getting used, no one dying, and then one pick catalyzing the rest of the deaths. But they're scrappy. It's not like one team's dominating every fight. And the Ramantra, as I'm saying this, walks up, starts throwing right hooks and left hooks at the Lucio and the Zarya, but not really able to secure anything. Well, it's Blue who opens up the first pick. Here comes the Ramantra ultimate, and it takes down 2. LeBron James and Akasora fall to the Ramantra, and Blue takes out the Lucio. The enemy Genji, I believe, is the one, or is that the, no, I think it's Kiriko.
The Kiri. Yeah, the Kiri's
underneath the cart. Genji's gonna have to get the touch here, and Kiri's looking to TP back to their team. I think they get it off, but Genji, no more cooldowns, just falls in the cart. Ball now touching, trying it out here. Big slam, but Bob is hitting on all cylinders. Dynamite comes in, Ball just kind of melts. We got a few more touches here, Kiriko, then Lucio, but it's not gonna be enough. Kent State takes this pretty well. 55 seconds.
This
on their clock here.
This map is a little bit closer, I will say that. I do think both teams are playing very well in what they want to do.
Yeah.
Ohio is doing a very good job of enabling their Ashe, but at the same time, Kent's doing a very good job with the pressure on the Ram, pressure on Blue, getting Blue in these spots that he needs to be in the mid fights. And Kent is playing, I'd say, textbook for what their combo wants to do on this map. Just able to push off, doing really good ult fights. I say that's the #1 thing. From Ohio, my main thing is try not to get picked early.
Yeah.
Because that's what's really snowballing a lot of these
fights. In the
fights.
first map, it was Under Review, and on that attack, it was Blue. These opening picks have just been devastating for Ohio, because every time that they happen, either you're forced to go aggressive, try and take a few people with you, and just get a reset fight, or you're trying to back out, but if you try and do that, you might not back out fast enough, and you'll get staggered that way. That's what we saw happen on point 1, and well, they did kind of, remedy that into point 2 and 3, taking the time down. I remember Kent State went into their attack on after point 1 with 5:13 on the clock, and Ohio was able to drain that time all the way down to 55 seconds. But in the grand scheme of things, 55 seconds is still a fairly solid time bank to have.
Yeah, absolutely. This map, I mean, the last two, honestly, all 3 of the points are very, very, very hard to push if you're an attacker.
Yeah.
Kent State come out swinging. Ohio State does a very good job recouping the last 2 points. And 55 seconds for Ohio is not that bad from what you see from the first point.
And even though the sides have switched here, we are seeing the same... Actually, no, I thought the Sim was just going to TP, but they are sticking it for now. They might go back to spawn and switch, but I am unsure of that. They TP their Zarya on a high ground, they get a little bit of charge, but not really much else to happen there. I think they're just looking to get their Zarya going.
I do really like the Sim pick. I think it's going to work out very well, able to TP on a Blue, because that was the #1 thing that I'd say last fight, is Blue getting these positions and sitting there for the rest of the map. Yeah. Underview falling really, really low. Gets out, though.
Kent State recognizing this aggressive high ground push from Ohio and trying to wrap around to deal with it. Zarya gets booped up the high ground and is trying to fight in the corner against the Reaper and Mantra, but it's not going to be enough. They're alone there. Though Akasora answers back by taking out Underview, Asteria taking down Kiriko for Ohio. This Sim Beam, though, is up and cooking. Full charge here, burning up the Ram Shield, though not really enough to keep the fight going, and Sim decides to TP out.
When Sim in longer fights gets that beam coming up, it's more valuable than a tank.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I'm fine trading my life and my Sim is staying alive, beaming that Ram, beaming that Reaper. That's a lot of damage.
And it's one of those things where it's like, Sim feels very unassuming. So you're not going to be necessarily tracking Sim positioning throughout the mid fight. So they might surprise you as a full charge Sim rounds the corner and burns you up.
Even if you are tracking, one TP and you're lost.
Oh my god,
Blue coming out with the Ash diff.
Just quick 2-tap, one headshot, one body shot will do it. And, you know, Ohio, you're staying in here, but that's a really risky play. You still have 2 people coming back from spawn. You're putting your people on high ground, but Ohio, or Kent State's recognizing this, swinging around, trying to get aggressive.
The TP coming out, Topaz coming close to ult. We have Frosty and I already have ult. I wonder if they're going to keep pushing this fight out with a rush. Good wall coming out, splitting this fight.
And
Rush
here
does.
comes the power of the Symmetra. You put Ramatra on the back foot, full Sim beam, full Zarya beam, even with the block, he's not able to hold it. Blue able to get one pick on Akasora, but it's not going to be enough. Sim TPs forward, finds Blue, and that's a really good fight from Ohio. They still have the grab, they still have the Kazuna Rush, they still have the beat.
Ohio played it very well there. The number one thing they want to do here is get the grab, but not only just get the grab, focus the Lucio, because a beat can change the fight just like that. I think if they do beat,
Ramatra dangerously low on the approach there. Forced to pop form. Beat comes in to try and keep the grab alive, but it's not really going to be enough. The Ramatra falling dangerously low and dies. Bob comes in, and this Reaper also trying to survive, but no Wraith means no life. Lucio trying to desperately wall ride, but he walls into some sim turrets, and the Rosario right click from downtown takes him out.
It's no 5 minutes from Ohio, but a very good push, capping with about 2 minutes left on the time bank.
Yeah, this is what I like to see from Ohio. They're starting to match the aggression that Kent State was using against them earlier, and it's working in their favor. And like we were saying, this sim pick is very dangerous against the Ramatra and is really being helpful.
I really do like the sim pick, and I honestly hope they keep it up with the next time we win or lose. Bob coming out.
There's the Bob Blossom on the high ground. Reaper gets booped, but into the Zarya, who's low charge, and they trade each other's lives out. But Reaper also able to take down Topaz, so that puts Kent State in advantage, and Ohio has to back up.
Under review in the ult was dunking on LeBron there. I don't know if you saw him get booped off, but he was going for the slam dunk on Frogside.
I do think that was Big Whoop who booped him from far away. I don't think they realized where the Zarya was positioned.
The Reaper does swap to a Venture, so a little bit of a little swap up here. It's going to do better against the Sim, but I like the Reaper more than the Venture if I was Kent State, really.
Ohio trying to make their way up these stairs. Ramform gets popped, and Suzu forced by an absolutely beautiful dynamite from Akasora. But Kent State taking a lot of damage, and the Ramatra Annihilation able to complete those 2 kills, do a ton of damage, and the rest of Ohio just falls so fast.
It's very hard to sit on a corner while the Ram is pummeling you. Dynamites are coming out, Venture's digging. Ohio, they try to rush, but they're already 2 weak. So as soon as the rush comes out, Gerbil pops ult and immediately gets 2 picks off of it. If I was Ohio, I'm either trying to take low ground here and then TPing top in the mid fight, or I'm taking these fights up high way faster than I'm taking them right now. So let's see how they do it here.
Every time that they try and come to this corner, they let the Ramatra get just so much value, and they're not really able to deal with it.
We have a really big TP
rush. Oh, the grab gets popped and a beat in addition to that, trying to take down all of Kent State, and they looks like they do. Bob gets chucked, but he's taking a stroll all the way to point 1. And he's really not contributing to this. Gets a little bit of damage onto Topaz to help under review, but that's the fight going the way of Ohio State. And I think you really are going to want that Bob back, because even when they popped it, as I said, I think I've been saying Ohio State this whole time. I may have been doing that. They are not in our conference. They're somewhere else.
LeBron James doing a good little 3-pointer grab. I had to make the joke. Doing a good 3-pointer. And these ult fights are really what's helping Ohio State out. They're performing very well when multiple ults come out on the board.
Akasora taking a lot of damage when they try and peek blue, and forced to go to low ground. They probably don't want to do that, as they're definitely eyeing up a Bob onto high ground here.
We have Simwall coming out to counter whatever comes out from Kent State. So I do want them to play a little more brawly on the cart with the Simwall, but they're playing slow right now. Maybe trying to get TP set up to high ground.
Dynamite comes out, doesn't really find all that much. Akasora drops down to try and get aggressive, and then Round Review follows up with the Venture ult, finding 1, finding 2, doing enough damage to find LeBron 2. Looks like Akasora is just going to run away. Honestly, the smart move there. You don't really want to invest. just looking to get out with your life and get reconvene with your team.
If you're Ohio, you don't mind that fight too much. Kent State drop him with 2 ults immediately, but you do not use a single ult on your side, so Ohio State's going to have the better ult bank coming in this next fight and the next few fights, really.
Though it is 30 seconds on the clock here. It's do or die time for Ohio. They have the resources to make it happen. Let's see if they do it.
I really like this rotate coming out from Ohio. And starting the fight off strong with an early pick.
Big pick from Akasora, like you were just saying. And Venture getting aggressive, but kind of split from their team. Looks like their sim wall runs out, and just as that happens, Akasora takes down Blue. And Blue had, or Akasora actually got taken down by Blue, and they had the Bob. Kitsune rush on high ground, but isn't really able to help because it doesn't fall on the low ground. Bob onto the cart is doing a lot of damage to the Sim, and Sim forced to hide behind the heart with Lucio, but they do find Venture. The rest of the team kind of hiding behind cart. Lucio does a little bit of a janky wall ride, and is found by the Bob, and the Bob also finds Zarya. Bob kind of being the MVP in this last fight here in Ramantra, popping the Annihilation just to clean up the rest of this. Bob does get a last-second touch from Akasora, but it's a 2v1. Bob gets melted. Akasora walking up to maybe touch, but no. Kent State takes map 2.
Wow, Kent State looked very, very good on that last map, on that last little fight right there. I thought Ohio State was coming off strong. You know, they TP the high ground when their ram dropped. They had the rush going, but the rush didn't go exactly where you want it to go. And that's what really led for them to lose that fight. Really good Bob coming out from Blue, though.
Akasora also falling early, not able to use that Bob during the fight. Ultimately, I think, was the nail in the coffin for him. Because you're right. They started that fight really, really well. They had the sim wall up. They got the original pick. And then they just kind of fell apart. Their numbers spread out. Scooch over here. I didn't realize where I was going. Yeah, it's really looking good from Kent State. They came to play, and they are putting Ohio State on a pretty aggressive back foot.
Kent State is having a map. Was it 4 or 5? I don't remember with Miami. They're coming in
map 4
with the momentum already. You know, they had a very, very good serve also on the very last map on Miami. Had a little bit of a break in between, but are coming out swinging strongly.
Yeah, they got what, in my eyes, is a huge upset against Miami University, and looking to maybe do another upset. Maybe not as big of an upset, but they're on a warpath. I don't think anything's really an upset at this point. Kent State is proving themselves in a pretty big way.
Kent State are coming out swinging, and I've said that a few times, but
I mean, they are.
They're on Ram. You know, they're swinging the punches and stuff. They're looking really good on this Ram comp. Under Review's doing some good stuff. Blue, that last fight, or that last map, may I say, was the MVP on that map. Absolutely, to me. He was getting the early picks. He was in the right spot at the right time, pretty much every single fight. And the ults were really what put the nail in the coffin.
Early picks have been the name of the game so far here. It's, again, Under Review, first map, Blue, the second map. And I think it's going to come down to the overall adaptability of Ohio State, whether they're able to actually figure out what's causing these early picks, or they're really not going to be able to deal with it, because it doesn't seem to be like a comp issue. It doesn't seem to be a coordination issue. It just seems to be that they're not checking these angles properly. On these open maps, it's Blue on the Ash. On the closed maps, it's Under Review on the Reaper. But either way, those DPS are a threat in the early fight.
I'm going to call it skipping steps. You know, I think that's the more of official term. You know, they're trying to walk where they want to be in the mid fight, but they're not getting the steps to go where they need to be in the mid fight is the thing. All those high grounds, you know, they're deciding to skip it and walk low ground. Then it's Blue in the mid fights, just creating havoc from that high ground, just getting the headshots on the other Ash.
And the best fights we saw for Ohio was when they addressed Blue. Even though Farah taking an aggressive match into an Ash isn't the greatest and most recommended play, it was working for them, because even when Topaz died, that Ash was occupied for a lot of that fight, and it was letting Ohio actually make some stuff happen. When Blue's let to sit on high ground, just kind of having a shooting gallery wherever they want, they're a dominant threat.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Ohio, you know, you need to win this next one. Where are they going to take it?
Yep. Looks like we're going to be getting our lobby set up here in a second. We're going to throw it to a short break before we're getting going into our third map. It is match point for Kent State. Can they close that out in a dominant 3-0? You will see right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, we are back. Our next map for map 3 of this match will be Suravasa. Very interesting pick, when you're dealing with a Ramatra situation, but I'm assuming that means we're going to see the ball from Ohio.
Hey, I would love to see it. I'm really surprised that Ohio University
Yes, we,
didn't
we
ban
fixed
Ram.
it this time.
Didn't ban Ram because
Same.
Kent has looked really good on that Ram character.
Yeah, Ohio actually banned Reaper and Kent banned Lucio. Now, I don't hate the Reaper ban. The Reaper has definitely been a problem for Ohio, but yeah, you're right. The main problem for them has been the Ramatra. It's like the Reaper. The problem with the Reaper isn't the character. It's what you're doing to deal with the character. So I'm hoping that just getting rid of the Reaper will kneecap the Ramatra comp for Kent State, and it will give Ohio a chance to get something going here.
Yeah, like you said, it's not really the fact that it's Reaper doing all the work. It's more the fact that Ramatra's catching all the eyes, and it's allowing the Reaper to do all the work.
Exactly.
Exactly what was happening. The first map, not so much the second map, because it was really just a blue show.
Yeah,
that's what it looked
but
like.
it's ultimately the same problem. They're not checking the DPS positioning, so it doesn't really matter what the DPS play. You still need to take that step. It's an important part of the pre-fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do expect Kent to keep playing Ram. They might play a Sim, they might play a Venture. I would love to see a ball coming out from Ohio University.
Yep.
Will that happen? You never know.
Well, and in
Bias.
previous matches from Kent State, when they haven't played the Ram, we have seen the Junker Queen. So that definitely is a possibility here. It really depends on what tank player we see in. Foggy usually being the one brought in on instead of Gerbil for that Junker Queen.
I wouldn't mind any swaps. I don't know if there are any team swaps in the slightest. Comp swaps, though, that's what you want to see. The bans are really gonna put play into here because we're gonna see if under review can.
I'm
be
assuming
under
we're going
review
to see Junos in response to the Lucio being banned, probably from both sides.
There we go.
I do see a Juno, but I also see a Wu Yang.
So we got Diva coming out from Ohio. I actually haven't seen Ohio play Diva yet this tournament. I know they have in the past, but Diva's a very, very strong character.
I thought they played it in one of the earlier matches.
They might
could be wrong.
I haven't
wasn't
watched
one of the ones
all
I
of them,
cast.
So I might be lying to you guys. They might have even played it in my match, if I'm being honest. I might just forget.
But
both teams on Sim right now. Let's see if it stays.
It's very different styles here, like we've seen the last two matches. Let's see how these two clash.
Both swapping over to Venture immediately. Two very similar comps, but at the same time, their playstyles are completely different. Completely different. Kent State's still gonna be doing the same thing. Look at Ram is what we want you to do. But Ohio, they want to do the complete opposite. They want to swarm, and then they want to create the pressure onto the Juno in the mid fight. Let's see if they execute that how they want to or not. Because right now, it looks like they're all stacked on the same lane, and the Ram is just going to be able to sit in front of them, and they're not going to go through the Ram.
Oh, trying to take some rotations, but they all end up in the same spot, and that really kneecaps their composition. Ramatra just boxing out the rest of the team, doing a lot of damage to Diva, and Diva's forced to back up. They do survive, but Ohio is just kind of stuck on the outside of this point, all grouped together and not really on any angles.
Yeah, if Ohio keeps playing the same way they're playing right now, sending most of their team all in one spot, they need to get split up more, or else it's going to look like the other two maps.
Trying to get aggressive in there, but the Ravenous Vortex stops him. Blue falling dangerously low and forced to back up, but, Topaz not able to secure that kill and has to get themselves out of town.
Ohio is taking a very, very long time on this fight, and while that's happening, Kent's charge is just going more up and up. 40, 41, 41. It's going up, and up, and so is their ult charge. They're going to get ults a little bit slower.
Ohio trying to finally commit to a fight here, and they do get the enemy Venture very, very low, but it doesn't look like it's going to actually be enough to secure any kills. We haven't even seen a kill this match. Diva falling through half HP, getting healed up, but still taking a lot of damage. Still trying to get aggressive, but not able to find anything. 80 health, 19, and they're out of the mech. Looks like maybe they're able to keep the baby Diva alive, but no, Akasura does answer and take out the Topaz, but reversing of the tide keeps someone alive. I didn't see that one on to, but it did something.
Gerbil is going to be using his ult to swing into the backline now, but overall, Ohio University is probably going to come up on top of this fight. They just have to support left and testing. But it is like a 5v2 on the point right now.
While their patience ultimately did pay off and let them win the fight, 99% for Kent State already, after really what was just a long first fight. We'd see a few little attempts at an engage from Ohio, but they really just never fully engaged until that last fight, which let Kent basically get free percentage.
Ohio's swapping to Ram now, so it's going to be pretty close to the same comp. I will say Ohio has a little more pressure when it comes to the off angles and just the damage overall output, but Kent's got the more heals. So again, Ohio does not want to play this extremely front to back like they've been playing.
Fight breaks out. We see the Kitsune rush from the side of Ohio. In response, Under Review does pop their Venture ult, but as I say that, so did Topaz, and Topaz's seems to be just that much better, securing 2 kills as well as the Ramantra, and it looks like it's going to be Ohio State's fight here, which is really good considering they're at 70%. That last stagger could actually mean that this is last fight situation.
Ohio's done a very good job recouping from the start.
Touch?
0 to 99. I think they might get a touch with their Juno ult. We'll see though. Actually, they might not be able to.
It's really close. They're going to have the Venture dig, maybe?
For it. Venture does end up getting it. Yeah, both support ults coming out here soon.
Both soldiers all come out. It's a duel between the two of them. Both soldiers falling dangerously low, but Blue is the one who's able to take out Aquastora. That Juno ult moving across point in conjunction with the Casino Rush from Starry Night, and Kent State just boxing out all of Ohio. The rest of them fall ever so slowly, and Kent State ends up taking it back and taking that first point.
If you're Ohio, though, you're not going to be upset with yourself. So you come back from a really big deficit of 99-0, and you make it 99-99, and Kent State has to commit 3 to that last fight, and you're going to have ult advantage coming in these next few.
Ohio definitely started finding their stride. It was just the ult economy wasn't their favorite going into last fight, which that's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles.
Gerbil, I will say one thing I'm noticing from him a lot is the amount of damage he's taking on the walk-up. A lot of the times he's forced to use his abilities.
LeBron James does answer back, taking Blue, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to trade it out. We do see a big Wu Yang ult popped with the Ram form, but doesn't secure a kill. However, Annihilation is used by Gerbil to keep himself alive and eventually take out LeBron James.
Yeah, you know, Kent walking up, Gerbil falls really low. Underview gets a really good early pick on the Topaz, though, and that just snowballs the fight from there. They're able to get aggressive and have that free lane pressure like they want to.
These fights are definitely super, super scrappy, and I think Kent State's overall taking advantage of that much more often.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, if you're a Venture, you love to see the entire team walk in the enemy space, but they go too aggressive without their cooldowns.
Yeah, Under Review, I don't think expected to see the whole crew in that corner. I think they only expected to see one. And, Topaz pops the Venture but dies during it. Doesn't able to get a single value, and that's both Ventures off the board. We have a 4v4 here, but Under Review is going to be getting back to the fight in this 1 second. And importantly, Kent State has been in control of the point this whole time. Under Review walking in here, looking to get Excavation Initiation going. Finds one, gets a little, or finds some damage, but not actually able to find a kill. Gets aggressive, finds one. Can they get one more? That's the Kiriko out of the fight and the Wu Yang low HP. Here comes the Juno ult. Going through the middle of point as Topaz is taken down by Blue. And that's Kent State taking point 2.
Wow. That is not at all what you want to see if you're Ohio University.
No,
they're committing
not at
a
all.
lot more ults in these fights than Kent State is, and still losing them in the mid fights. Because the problem is they're using these fights, but they're getting little to no value out of them.
Yeah.
They're using Kitsune, they're using Orbital, and they're not getting picks off it. And Kent State's doing a fantastic job just living.
Well, it also seems like they're not doing their proper scouting in that, like, it's like Topaz, or no, Under Review was actually surprised by Ohio State there, but Ohio State didn't really know what to do with that pick.
It seems to me that Ohio University is getting these early picks. Yeah, they're getting these early picks and then trying to snowball off it, but they're going too fast and ignoring the steps to keep continuing the fight.
Topaz looking to get aggressive here.
Even trade though.
Kind of a neutral fight after those 2 picks breaks out. LeBron James looking to back up, fight onto point, but they are super duper low HP. Holding block here, but it's not going to be enough, and they fall ever so slowly. Topaz answers back by taking out Frosty Knight, but it's really not going to be enough. Kent State just taking the point here? Yep, there it is.
Finally, yeah.
I was trying to see if anyone was actually going to get a touch here. They might actually not get a cap. No, I lied. They do.
Ohio University going into these fights they're completely mirrored now on both sides. Or no, I guess Orchestra did go on the cast to get a little more brawly on the Venture in the mid fight, but they are mirroring the double flex support comp.
Oh no, the cast are caught out on this corner here. Dodges the Venture shot and forces the Venture out and survives. The rest of Ohio State then answering back in that main fight, taking out the Ram, taking out the Sojourn, and the Sojourn actually popped their ult.
I will say one thing Under Review is doing very good. Even if they are going in these fights and not getting a kill off of it, they're baiting eyes and resources that are able to be drawn out from LeBron James and making Dexter Morgan and Big Whoop, you know, commit abilities to heal themselves instead of the tank. And that's why the frontline battle is just so in favor for Kent State.
Yeah. And taking a peek at our ultimates coming up here, Kent does have that Annihilation and does have that Tectonic Shock, whereas Topaz actually also has the Tectonic Shock and pops it early to stroke an aggressive fight, getting moved around a little bit and not able to actually find a full kill, though doing a lot of damage. Annihilation is answered as well as the Tectonic Shock from under review, and this is a scrappy fight going either way. Gerbil and Asteria fall for the side of Kent State, but so does LeBron James and the Acusora on the side of Ohio. Ohio is in control and do have to back up here, but they're able to get the kills that they need to keep the point in their favor.
Not a bad quote unquote fight for either team. You know, they're both getting value. Topaz does get a little overzealous there, I would say.
Yeah.
But from both sides, you're not complaining. Ohio's getting more percentage on the point and not using as many ults as Kent State is. On the other side, Kent State, you know, they won the fight. They get the flip back. So let's see the ults that Ohio's going to use. They're both coming up on support ults, so I wonder if they're going to cancel out each other. Then we have High Noon, and we're close to the Ramatra ult, but Blue is close up to the OC, so I hope they start this fight fast.
An aggressive Juno ult comes out and it finds the Cassidy super duper quickly. They do pop the Sune Rush, but quickly Kent State pops theirs. LeBron James dies before he's able to use the Ramatra ult, and Sora falls before they're able to use the Cassidy ult. This is looking to be last fight situation, and it looks like Kent State's going to take this match in a 3-0. Oh
Topaz
my god.
barely getting the touch. Let's see if they can get another one.
Maybe the ball.
And it doesn't look like it. Kent State, wow.
That was absolutely brutal and not what I expected from Kent State, but I'm happy that I saw it.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy match.
It seems like when Kent State lost to Ohio previously, it set a fire under them, and they are swinging, I keep using that word, but they are, through the lower bracket, taking out opponent after opponent. Not sure who they faced the first round. Maybe it was BGSU. I can't remember. It was Akron. I don't know.
No, it was BGSU. I think Ohio Akron was their first match, though.
So,
yeah.
Went through Ohio in the loser bracket, lost to Ohio, went down to the loser bracket. Not sure they played the first round, beat Miami, upset. Then now they're coming out and beating Ohio after losing them. I'd say that's another upset.
And not only was it a win for Kent State, it was a brutal, clean 3-0. Absolutely dominant. I think like the best map Ohio really had was that Dorado map, but it really wasn't all that much. Kent State on an absolute warpath right now, and I gotta be honest, I feel like you might be a little nervous going into this grand finals.
I'm shaking a little bit. I'm scared for this Kent State team. You know, they look very flexible. You know, the Reaper gets banned at last one. Under Review does an amazing job on the venture. I think, you know, from Ball State's point of view, I know a guy that plays on that. You really want to make sure these DPS aren't able to get enabled in these mid fights, because that's the number one thing that Kent State's doing right now.
And you know, Kent State, they're aggressive, they're hungry, they're on a warpath, and they have the momentum, but it's not going to be a best of 5 anymore. It's not going to be a best of 5 anymore. It's going to be a best of 7. We're going to have to see if Kent State's able to keep their momentum going through a long series like that, because honestly, I don't see them able to 3-0 you guys. I think if this is going to be a series, it's going to be a very long one. So I hope Kent State has that endurance, because I really want a best of 7. I think we've had whatever, like, I don't know how formatting for Rocket League and for Smash, but I'm pretty sure we've gone to what is the equivalent for overtime for both of those, and I'd love to see a last map for Overwatch as well.
But I wouldn't mind it. You know, Rocket League did in fact go to last game, and Ball State coming out on top. You know,
I was watching that between my cast last game. It was so
and Ball State would love to come home with 2 titles. You know, they would love to come out swinging in Overwatch. The stream is going to be on the ESC conference stream instead of the Miami stream. So there is going to be a little bit of a stream switch. So if you're viewing, make sure you're following us along on the next one.
And that's going to be actually it for us. I am done at the desk for the day, and you got a match
going
to
play.
So head over to the ESC conference channel. We will be seeing you there, and let's have a good day.
Thank you guys.
It's been good casting with you.
Great casting.